Hey, so I'm just making this video because I want to start off by saying that I heard the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh passed away, and it was kind of shocking to me. Um, Yu-Gi-Oh was only a part of my life when I was in like 4th grade, I think, and after that I kind of got away from it. I didn't really like it that much, but it was just shocking to me because also the way he passed. Basically, he must have been at the beach or something because a riptide took a mother and her 11-year-old daughter, and he tried to save them, but he died in the process. And if you're wondering, I think some military scuba diver was there who saved the woman and her daughter, I think. But it's just shocking to me because just knowing that like the people who created these stories that impact our lives could well, obviously they die, but I don't know, it's just shocking. I think a big part of it was because I've always been a very big fan of Pokemon. Ever since I was a little kid, it's just always been there in my life. And it's very important to me. And I think I just kind of related the two. Like, what if the creator of Pokemon just died? Because, like, the franchise might go on, but I feel like we need to honor these people that create things that are important to us. And the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh, his death just reminded me that, like, be grateful for what you have, whether it's the people in your lives or the people that create things that entertain you. Because I think it's very important. But getting to the video, so I think storytellers are basically like shamans or some type of like mystic energy that connects with other realities. So let me explain. Basically, science is starting to prove that there could be other universes out there. I don't know, I'm not too well versed on science, I'm only saying from what I've heard. Basically, I should start off by saying that the general accepted theory of our genesis is that the Big Bang happened, and from that exploded like particles which created stars, which when they blew up they created planets which have some of them have atmospheres, I guess ours does. And it's speculated that there's other planets with atmospheres and liquid water and then life on it. And I think they're just not completely telling everything that they know, the government, but that's a whole other story. That's not important. But basically there could be other Big Bangs out there in space, empty space, void. Like, there may not be just one Big Bang, but there could be like an infinite number of Big Bangs. So we're living in a multiverse. Now, if there's an infinite number of Big Bangs creating other universes, and it's infinite, then doesn't that imply that all the stories that we create in our lives, or hear about in our lives, whether it's like video games or movies, TV shows, books, or even just the daydream that you have in yourself, just thinking about like, what if there's another world out there, and you kind of come up with like images in your mind to see what this world looks like. But if there's an infinite number of universes out there, an infinite number of Big Bangs, then that kind of implies that all these stories actually have a reality to them. Maybe in some parallel Earth, in some other universe where another planet just like Earth arises and it creates the events of Harry Potter, or something more fantastical like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh, where all the events of those stories took place, and with an infinite number of possibilities as to what happened beyond what we know about these stories. I mean, it makes sense. And I usually think that like life just is infinite, because I've always thought like, why this? Why this hair, this face, these trees? Why this existence? There's like pizza, 7-Eleven, you have to pay your taxes. you get married, you have kids, you go to school. Then there's like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And like people have schizophrenia. Some people get diabetes. Like, why all this stuff? We have thoughts, feelings. I mean, like, to me it just screams that like anything is possible, and you just happen to land on this one grain of sand in an infinite beach or desert. So what I'm trying to get at is, if these realities are existing out there, like, just take it again, when, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but next time it's nighttime, look up into the sky and just pick a point. Like, you can't see it right now because it's daytime, but just pick a point in that black void of space. Just look there, that point. That is where the events of Pokemon could be taking place, so far away you can't even like perceive it. Like, not even in this Big Bang, but in a whole nother Big Bang across space. That's where Ash Ketchum is living out his dreams to become the Pokemon Master. Like, I'm trying to say that, like, these stories are real. It's just not, like, here, in this, like, place. With the exception of, true story biographies, autobiographies, and stuff like that. Stories based on a true story or whatever. But, anyway, getting back to what I'm saying is, the people that create these stories are, I think, mystics and shamans, because creativity is always associated with magic, psychic abilities, and spirituality. And shamans are the people that are magical and creative and psychic and spiritual. They could create things that influence people, whether it's a story or a god or a demon or a spirit. They're just creating it. But are they creating it, or are they discovering it? Because I think this is where the line gets blurred between creation and discovery. Because in a storyteller's daydream fantasy, they're getting into this flow state of mind where this information just comes to them, and it's exciting. It's all inspirational. It's magical, essentially. But these ideas just come to them because of the state of mind that they're in, the state of consciousness. And I think this is basically channeling in some kind of way, a psychic ability. I think creativity is a psychic ability. When you're like really creative, when you really get into that flow state where these ideas just come to you. Because like the way a psychic vision works is that you don't try to think about it. It just comes to you. It just lands in your mind. And it's like this dreamlike vision. And when these people are creating these stories, that's the same function of how it works.
Hey, bud.
What's going on?
Hey, mate.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Like the ideas and images and characters and stuff are just popping into their mind. So essentially, I think they're channeling it. It's a magical power. So if shamans are magical and mystics are magical and spiritual and creative, then I think people like Satoshi Tajiri and the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! And even J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, they're essentially like, they may not know it, but they're shamans and mystics. It's also because the nature of their stories is so full of like life, and they're just so inspirational and they make people happy. Is that not the role of the shaman in past cultures? Or the priest, to give like inspiration and happiness and fulfillment and joy to the people? So yeah, they're basically like the stories that they're creating are I don't know if I said this. I kind of like went off on a tangent, but and also like I should mention that I have disorganized thinking, so it's hard for me to like stay on topic or stay on task with what I'm saying or thinking. It's part of the illness and the severe depression. But what was I gonna say? See. I think basically like Satoshi, if the events of Pokemon and Ash are taking place way out there, I can't see it, but when you look in space at night, they're happening over there. If Satoshi Tajiri, the creator of Pokemon, is getting into this flow state, this like shamanic mystic state, and the ideas are coming to him, but yet the events of Pokemon could be happening in some distant universe, then he's almost like perceiving information from that universe. And yeah, there could be little things like he could scratch one idea, throw it out, and then come up with another idea. But in some way, he's picking up information from that reality, from that universe that created a Big Bang, and then a galaxy, stars, then a planet with an atmosphere and life, liquid water. He's picking up like knowledge of that, of the events of that reality over there. And it doesn't have to be like so realistic. Like I know obviously Pokemon is a children's cartoon for the most part, and it's very like idyllic, like nobody ever really gets hurt and stuff like that. But who's to say that a reality like that can't exist when you're living in an infinite reality? And that's like the ideal of heaven in religions, like a place that's perfect, where you can't like get hurt, sort of, where everyone's happy. So in some ways you can see it as he's a modern holy man that is teaching the people of a place where you can't get hurt, where everyone's happy, and stuff like that. It's an interesting perspective, but I do honestly believe that like people like that are mystics and shamans. And I think creativity is a psychic ability. And storytellers are shamans. So yeah, I don't know what else I want to say, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm trying to portray in my disorganized thinking, schizophrenic ramblings, want to call it that. But it's just interesting to think that like all these stories that could be so important to us and that gave like quality and richness to our lives actually are existing in some reality. And maybe when we die, we go to the astral realm where it's infinite, where you can just like think of something and it appears. Maybe you can travel the whole universe and you're almost like observing the physical world from a disembodied consciousness state. And maybe you can actually travel to those worlds and meet these people that influenced your lives. And that would be an honor for Satoshi to meet Ash Ketchum and all of his friends and Pikachu. So yeah. But really, the next time it's nighttime from wherever you are, look up into the night sky, pick a point in the sky, and think about your favorite story. It could be as fantastical as possible. It could be something that's so unreal from what we know. And just think, those events, those characters, those places are just over there. You see my finger? Over there. That's where it's happening. It's just so far away. You just can't even like perceive it. But they're actually like flesh and blood. And who's to say that a Big Bang can't be some like pixelated thing. Like, it doesn't have to be so like this. See this? Who's to say that the way it manifests isn't like little blocks and things like that, like a pixelated Game Boy Advance game or something. Could be anything. 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 Oh yeah, so just thought I'd throw that out there. But yeah, rest in peace to the creator of Yu-Gi-Oh! Another thing is that I want to buy the Pokemon manga because apparently the creator of Pokemon said that the manga is the closest to what his vision is of the Pokemon world. So I think for me to feel so strongly about Pokemon and to know that it's so important to me, I think I really should read the manga, because that's what this medium, mystic shaman, is saying, that this is what the world is, and he is that like channel through which that reality became known in this world. So I think it would be an honor to read it. I'd be very grateful to know what where he was originally getting at in his mind of what this place is. Yeah, I want to end this by saying, be grateful for the people in your life and all the forms of entertainment and the people that created them, because they've done so much to enrich our lives, and it's essentially spiritual. Very spiritual. It's good to be spiritual. So yeah, alright, peace.